category were all information security leaders who work for end-user companies only, so no vendors. The individual should have undertaken various endeavors, such as spearheading a viable IT security program, gaining the support of their company's executive leaders as well as their colleagues, and certainly helping through their indefatigable efforts to propel the CISO position to a footing of influence within not only their own companies, but the wider market. So, I would like to welcome our first CSO of the year for SC Awards Canada, Doug Powell from BC Hydro.
We're here with Doug Powell, who was just named CSO of the Year, our first SC Magazine Canada Awards. Doug is with BC Hydro. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, Doug, tell me a little bit about the company and what you guys do.
BC Hydro is the third largest power utility in Canada. BC Hydro is a power authority in British Columbia. We supply electricity to 95% of the province's residents. 85% of that is hydroelectricity. So what we do is we deliver power.
Right. Now, obviously, you know, we hear a lot about the critical infrastructure, the power companies. Obviously, as those networks become interconnected with the public networks and with the corporate networks, obviously there's a concern about cyber threats reaching some of these more systems that, for a large number of years, really could stay isolated from this stuff. Not so much anymore. Obviously, that plays a lot into what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell everybody who asks, my number one job is to keep the lights on. And during the Olympic period, heightened threat environment, it became very profound in terms of what the threats we were facing and what we had to do to protect that grid. And in fact, we innovated a lot of programs to protect the grid during the Olympics. But you're right, and one of the most recent big threats that's come to life, of course, is Stuxnet. We weren't staring down Stuxnet during the Olympics, but we certainly believed that what we were facing was equal to that category of malware.
Yeah, almost good thing Stuxnet didn't arise in the lead up to the Olympics. That would have been, I'm sure, even more chaotic for you, right?
Extreme chaos.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So Stuxnet, that really gave real life theory to this issue.
It gave real life theory to the fears that we had going in, and our approach going to the Olympics was to prepare ourselves for something of the magnitude of Stuxnet, both on the physical side in terms of destruction of our dams or our transmission system, and also people who might want to get at the Olympics through us, but equally protecting our SCADA systems, our control systems, and our network from potential hackers.
So obviously you can't get into the nitty-gritty of what you guys are doing there, but tell me a little bit about how sort of the strategy has shifted, some of the things that you've accomplished over the last year or so.
Well, going into the Olympics, the problem I faced is that BC Hydro did not have a mature security program. So they were taking stabs in different areas and making things happen. And again, realizing what was in front of us with the Olympics and the heightened threat environment, and knowing that we had threat agents who, in fact, had made threats against BC Hydro, we had to develop a program very quickly. And our first endeavor was to do the physical side, because we own over $1 billion in physical assets, $100 billion in physical assets. So most of our work was around protecting the dams, protecting the transmission system. But we realized 10 months before the Olympics that we hadn't given enough credence to planning for the IT side. We just sort of determined in our minds that, well, IT will model through. And we started hearing reports that, for example, Beijing had 10,000 hits on their SCADA system the first day.
Wow.
The first day of the Olympics.
When they were hosting.
Yeah, they were hosting. And it made people stand up and take notice. So we started sort of breaking it down. It was handed to me to sort of risk manage and resolve and create mitigation for it. And the first thing we had to do was determine what really was our credibility of the threat. We're not in Beijing, we're in Vancouver. What we determined very quickly that we weren't ready to manage those threats, and that we had to basically build something from ground floor up. Now, unlike the physical side where we'd been working for 5 years, we had 10 months. In fact, we had less than 10 months because we had to be ready before February. This was something like April, May of 2009. So what we did is we went out and we looked for a leader in risk management, IT risk management. We did a very quick search. We stumbled on Modulo. We weren't aware of Modulo before that. And once we got to the table, we realized we had the leader. And we put Modulo to work. They responded extremely quickly. They spent 2 months in our offices doing risk assessment for us. We tiered our applications into 2 tiers. And tier 1 was obviously the one that we were most concerned about. We looked very, very long and hard at our SCADA system, our control network, and determined whether or not we could go manual on our control network or rely on what we had in place. So we ended up with a combination of things. Some cases we went manual, in some cases we just enhanced what we had from a cyber perspective.
And I'm sure a lot of organizations would love to have the Olympics as a driver. I'm sure that put the issue of security into a lot of executives' heads.
You're very fortunate. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Having the Olympics as the framework for this is what really motivated the executives to come to the table. And initially, we were writing to the table. By January of 2010, they were speaking from their side of the table. And they were very motivated.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
We got to wrap up, but when it comes to the power, it's certainly a story that gets a lot of people when you say like, hey, the lights can go out because due to cyber attack. How much of it is? I mean, Stuxnet obviously proved the reality of it, but I mean, looking forward, I mean, what do you really envision happening within this space? I mean, do you foresee there potentially being a large-scale blackout as a result of the cyber attack and things like that?
Absolutely. And you have to break that down into a couple of different realms. I mean, there's the realm of the hacker, the malware that's out there, and now we've got the super malware, the Stuxnets of the world, which I think we've determined.
And that's super malware.
Super malware, and because it's so well engineered, very, very well engineered. It's engineered better than a lot of the software that we're buying, unfortunately. But we realize that other people now can get their hands on Stuxnet, they can reverse engineer it, and they can use it for their own purposes. So whoever this creating body was isn't necessarily going to be a threat agent in the future. Those who've taken Stuxnet away from them now, re-engineered it, and applied it to their own purposes are going to be the real threats. And they're going to come after us hammer and tong. They really are. The other side of the threat to cyber, of course, is the EMF, the radio wave pulse. We're expecting the big cyber storm in 2013, maybe the end of 2012. And again, I don't think any grid in North America is ready, for a magnetic pulse of that magnitude. So we're getting hit from both sides, and we're making good gains through things like their compliance, but we're not there yet. We're not really there yet. And of course, BC Hydro now is stepping into the smart grid. So the problem will become magnified. And as we revise and improve our SCADA systems, again, it becomes a very profound problem.
Well, hopefully the word gets out there, and as you said, hopefully something like Stuxnet encourages people to realize, hey, we got to counter that with building better software and better hardware and those sort of things.
Better GRC, better policies, absolutely.
And all that. Okay. Doug Powell, thank you, our CSO of the year at SC Congress Canada. So congratulations, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.